Hey, so I'm taking a break from Christmas crafting, fall crafting to do something for Veterans Day. I personally don't have anybody in my family that is currently in the military, but of course, both my grandfathers were in the military, and so I want to do a craft that kind of can honor those who served in the military. And so, and I don't think we do a whole lot, anyways. You know, people don't do a lot for these patriotic holidays. We kind of just take it as a day off, and so we're happy to not have to go to work or not have to go to school and whatever, but then we don't always take the time to actually observe the importance of the holiday. So I'm going to do a cute little craft with a flag background on this is a 12-inch wood circle, and I bought a 12-pack of these on Amazon. Can't remember how much they cost, but not a whole lot. I was kind of surprised. It's a nice thick wood circle, and very easy to drill a hole through. So if you want to make something to hang on the door, a little welcome sign or something like that, something real cute. These are really easy to just use a little hand drill and make a couple holes on one side. So you can hang it up with a ribbon or a piece of twine. And so I'm going to do a flag background on this, and then I have a silhouette that I cut on the Cricut that I'm going to just pop out, and we'll stick it on here with some glue. So I'm going to do it a little differently. I've kind of found that with the Cricut, let me just get started here. I'm going to do my blue up in the corner. But I've kind of found that with the Cricut, I prefer to just use cardstock instead of the expensive vinyl, stick-on vinyl, because you can just use Mod Podge with cardstock. And I actually like the effect, and I like the look of it a lot more. You can actually have a little more control over where you're placing it. And so I will kind of show how I do that. And I think it just gives you more options too, because you can always find different color cardstock papers. You can't always find the right color in the Cricut vinyl that you want to use, and also you run out kind of quick. So buying just one piece of cardstock for a project is a whole lot easier than buying a whole roll of $8 or $9 vinyl that you may never use for another project, and then it's just going to take up room. So I'm just kind of eyeballing this, and I'm using a wide brush. So I'm using like a 1-inch thick just a flat brush, not one with any wiry hairs or anything. This one's in pretty good condition. And you could mark this if you wanted to with a ruler and a pencil first, but I just feel like a little corner shape here with a right angle, that's pretty easy to just eyeball that. And so I'll just not worry so much if it's real straight and even and perfect, because I know I'm going to have my silhouette going over it. And so I don't have to worry about all those little imperfections and little spots that I'm not crazy about. Now with the stars, I haven't quite decided. I do have some little woodsy stars that I could paint and glue on, but I feel like I don't really want any extra dimension added onto this painting. So I think I'm going to probably do something different with the stars. I haven't decided yet. I may try to find a rubber stamp and just stamp them on there, just so it kind of stays nice and flat and the same finish all over. So we'll see when we get to that. Starting with a nice clean dry brush, I'm getting some red, and I'm just using, today I'm not using Craftsmart, today I'm using Apple Barrel. I like the colors better, I like the red better. The Craftsmart red, I don't know why, it's a really nice bright red in the bottle, but when you go to paint on something, it comes out a little sheer. And so I wanted to use something that is going to be more solid, and the Apple Barrel paints tend to be a little more solid, and I just like the colors a little better, also for the blue. So, on this wood grain, kind of get lucky because you have little lines that you can follow when you're doing straight lines like this. So try to follow those if you can, and if not, you can always use masking tape, or you can use a ruler and just mark it that way so you can stay inside those lines. Another thing to mention is I want this to look hand painted. I want it to look handmade. So I don't really want it to be super perfect so it just looks like a sticker or something store-bought. We kind of get away from that. Sometimes we feel like it has to look perfect or it's not worth making. But the whole point of it is that you're making it yourself. Otherwise, just go to the store and buy one, right? So you want it to look handmade. You want it to look a little wiggly, a little rough. That's okay. That's the look we're going for. So you don't have to worry about all those edges. I'm still kind of undecided. Do I want to use this white color that's kind of like an off-white, yellowy color for the in-between, or do I just want to leave it as wood grain? I don't know. It's kind of the same color. It's really close in color. And also it shows off that this is made of wood. So I may just leave it. I haven't really decided. We'll see. Okay, so I just went and checked out the rubber stamp situation, and I did, but by the way, I did decide to kind of leave the wood look on there because, for one, I don't know, it could be kind of hard to come in here with the white and create a nice straight line in there since I've already got the red line, and I don't want to go over the red with the light color. It might look a little weird. You'll be able to see where they overlap and crisscross, so I don't want it to look pink or anything, but I like the way it looks like this. I know my silhouette's going to be kind of over here on this side somewhere, and I'm going to put some stars over here, so I did go and check out the rubber stamps, see what I had. So I found 3 stars, and I was kind of digging around. I found this starfish. I thought, okay, I could kind of pass that off for a star, but I don't like that the edges aren't crisp. And then I found this one, and I was like, darn it, it's like a little praise stamp that you'd put on a kid's homework if they did their homework right. But I thought, well, maybe you won't really be able to see the words in there because they're so small. But then I found the perfect one. So this is the one that I'm going to use. And I'll practice it first on the paper. Always do that whenever you're using a stamp. Always see what it's going to look like. You might not have enough paint on there, so you might want to see what it looks like with a little bit of paint. Maybe you want it to look a little sparse, which is kind of, I think, how we want it to look. Just like a faded look, just not too much paint, not very globby. But you might want it to look kind of globby, so you might want to overdo it. So just try it a couple times and also see if after one stamp you might be able to get away with doing another one. You might have enough paint on there, you might not, but that's why we practice it on a little piece of paper first. And most people don't think about painting on rubber stamps, but you can definitely paint on them. You don't just have to use the stamp pads. All right, there we go. So let's see how it looks. With just a thin coat of paint, that's pretty cool. But with whatever's left on there, you can still kind of see it. I might do some of them. Yeah, I'll probably go back and forth. I'll probably do a solid one somewhere and then one of the more faded ones. I don't think I could get a third out of it. No. Okay, but now I know what it's going to look like. So I'm going to go and just put my little stars all around on the blue section of my flag. There, I don't really need a whole lot. I just need, definitely not going to fit 50 of them on here, and you can't even see the whole blue section because we're cut off. So just going to do a few. I just want it to be full of stars and to have, a little bit of space around each one. I don't want it to be super crowded, but I'm not going to worry about these being in a perfectly straight line or anything like that. So maybe just a couple more, one there, and then that'll be good. This way, all the paint stuff is out of the way, and then we can move on to the next part, which we kind of want all the paint to be done before we go and do our silhouette on here. Very cool. Love that. Okay, so now for the silhouette part. So I already had this cut. I cut it on the Cricut before I got started on this. And so I'm just using a piece of 12 by 12 black cardstock, okay? And rather than printing on vinyl, because this would be a big piece of vinyl. This is a lot of my vinyl that I'm using. I think you only get twice this. So, this is a 12 by 12 piece. I think on the piece of vinyl, you'd only get 12 by 24. So that's just 2 times this right here. So that's not very much. I've already used, a pretty good portion of my vinyl if that's what I'm using. But I'm doing this on a piece of cardstock. So I will be able to, I still have some scraps I can use. I'll probably cut away the big pieces because I can use that for something else. And then, of course, now I got this little inside part here, so I gotta pop that out. You don't really need the tool every time. If you could just kind of get it with your nail. There we go. Okay, I don't know what this is. Cut some extra little piece there. There. So I won't use this whole thing, of course. I'll probably trace it onto the circle and see. Make sure I don't put that sticky side down. Trace it onto the circle and see where I need to cut it away. But kind of get an idea. So I want them at the bottom there, just like that. So I probably, well, do I want it covering up? Yeah, let's cover up the blue a little bit, just like this. Okay. So I will, I guess I'll kind of trace along there. I might even just kind of, yeah, if I just use my finger to kind of trace along the edge. And I'll make a mark, a little groove, a little fold, where I'll cut along to make sure that it fits right along the rounded edge. Now I can just see the groove that I need to follow. I'm just going along. Okay. Nice and even. Oh, good. And then I'll still see a little bit of the flag will be shown right here, which will also show us where his arm is. So that's kind of cool. Okay, just make sure it looks good. And it lays where we want it to. Okay, that's pretty good. Just like that. Yep, and his head is right in the middle. That's really cool. Okay, so then I have just some Mod Podge right here. I like to use the glossy kind. You don't have to. You can use matte. And I have a foam brush to apply it. So on the back, we just flip them over. I don't have to worry about this getting on the surface because I blew it dry, and also I've got, it just dries clear, so you don't have to worry about if it gets on the red or anywhere else on the flag. But it does dry fast, so you kind of want to flip it over quickly. You don't really have time to waste time or do this and then walk away. You have to do your edge and then quickly flip it over. All right, and then this, of course, will even it out. I don't want to leave it without finishing over the whole top of this because it's paper, so you're going to see you know, any little spot that you might have accidentally touched with glue on your hand. You're going to see that, so you have to do a little something with that. All right, you can help it out along the way with your fingers too. I'm just going to continue going around with this, sticking it down. But you know, I just really prefer using paper because I don't know, I get to control this better. If I was trying to stick this on, if I had painted my whole background with, you know, the flag design, and then I was coming in later with the vinyl, you know how, if you've ever used it, you know how, what a pain it can be to do that whole transfer process. And then you got little pieces you're worried about sticking down. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. Then you got the issue of, you know, what do you do now? You got it crooked. Should you try to peel it up, or you're gonna risk messing it up more if you try to peel it up and then fix it? Sometimes little pieces of it will break off, and so all those little annoyances kind of tell me that no, you don't always have to use the vinyl. Why not use all this cardstock? I had a lot of cardstock anyways, but I love that you can buy individual pieces of cardstock too at Michael's, so you don't have to buy the whole pad of paper, which I did see a really nice pad of paper that I wanted to get the other day because it was all glittery. I thought it'd be really cool for some Christmas crafts, but for $29, I think I will wait until it's on sale. So I'm not sure. I may be able to use a coupon on those too, so that'd be cool. All right, I'm just going to keep going around. I want to finish off the whole thing, so I want this glossy finish on everything, not just on the soldier. That's it. It was really simple, and I'm glad that I got to show how you can use the Cricut on something other than the vinyl stuff that they make and sell, because you can definitely use a lot of other materials than just what Cricut makes and makes available in the stores. I would probably come along later when I decide what kind of string I want to use and just put a hole here and then put a hole here with a little hand drill, or with the Crop-A-Dile, just kind of snip, and then maybe some twine. I don't know. You could probably throw a little bow, maybe a small bow. I wouldn't overdo it because this has a lot going on already, so I don't want to do anything too crazy to add to the busyness of it. I think it's nice and simple just like it is. I think it could also be cool to use the Cricut to make a word that goes across, you know, something to go with the holiday. But yeah, something like this is just so cute and simple, and you can put something like this out for, there's probably 3 or 4 good holidays. You could use a patriotic little hanger on your door, and or put it in the center of a wreath, and then go crazy with your ribbons and your other little doodads. But this one's real cute.